Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you for our audience for the whole day. And also thank you for our new audience, so just attend. So this is the session. I think we will discuss about the social influence of AI, so as well as perspective from industry. Thank you for all your patience. So after the long break. So I'm Zheng Liang from the School of Public Policy and Management, as well as International AI Governance Institute located in Tsinghua. So we serve as a co-organizer of this forum. And also thank you for all our collaborators. I think at the first stage, so we have released of a latest research, so jointly performed by our institute and China Telecom Research Institute. Why we have this research is just as you can see, the topic of this session is AI for industry, AI for society. So in this report, so maybe you could pick up at the front to desk. You can find. So there are researchers on how the new generation of infrastructure, so maybe enabled by AI, so will benefit the society, so as well as industry at the same time. At the same time, I think so to create both the commercial and the social values. At the very beginning, I would like to invite the Dean of IAIG, so Professor Xuan, to introduce the main research findings of this report. So let's welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a research that we've done that jointly with the China Telecom Research Institute, and to look at how AI infrastructure that's needed for particularly for inclusive AI development. So three key questions. First of all, in what economic and social context are we looking at? The second is why is cooperation on AI infrastructure is important, and what obstacles stand in the way and how we can overcome. Of course, I think we know AI is increasingly being seen as a major key engine for unleashing new drivers for economic growth, advancing social progress, and driving governance transformation. So that's the benefits that we've been talking about. But at the same time, we also see the potential of the divide, and so that's sort of the challenge that we have to think about what can be done. The divide. I think of course there are many international institutions have done many work, and I think this is the General Secretary of Guterres in UN saying, without adequate guardrails, AI could further exacerbate inequalities and digital divides, and disproportionately affect the most vulnerable ones. So I think this is the concern that many I think people in the world are concerned about. So I think international cooperation has been seen as the key pathway to achieve inclusive and beneficial AI development, and to promote AI as an international public good that can benefit all. But if you look at further, what are the because we've been talking about various divide and so on. So basically, we see that actually the international divide, the disparities actually are multi-layered. So if we look at the basic, the what we call now L1, L2, L3. And if we look at the L1, the level one, the basic one, it's infrastructure divide. So here it's really basic things that electricity, grids, and telecommunication networks, hardware device, and so on. So actually, I was just talking with Professor Gong was saying that in Uganda, the pipelines for water, it's close to half is leaking, right? So I think that's sort of no matter what AI, what tools you're using, how advanced you are, you still need some basic infrastructure. So electricity, of course, also is critical. The second layer is a cognitive divide, and this is skills, and literacy. Here we're really talking about, how to use technology and such as AI and so on. So that again is another layer of basic in terms of education, in terms of skills. And then, of course, we have the L3 intelligence divide that is really advanced in applying AI in various domains. So I think of course, global cooperation on this infrastructure. So we're now focused on the infrastructure level. So as the physical foundation for AI development, the inclusive sharing of AI infrastructure has some multi-dimensional value in terms of economic development, in terms of bridging the intelligence divide, and also, really, also supporting innovative innovation ecosystem. So all of those are multi-dimensional benefits for supporting the infrastructure development in developing countries. So I think that, I've already mentioned technology diffusion, economic development, innovation ecosystems, and also collaborative governance. So all of those benefits are important. The key role of telecommunication operators in supporting the infrastructure development is multifold. And so the first is telecom operators, they build infrastructures. So the infrastructure builders, so major telecom operators worldwide, they're investing in the construction of computing centers. The second is they are scenario enablers. So deeply integrating general purpose AI capabilities with sectors such as manufacturing, transportation, finance, healthcare, education, all of those kind of scenario, application domains. I think they are really enable those, application domains. And the third is that serving as ecosystem integrators. So really connect AI technology providers, equipment manufacturers, industry clients, and research institutions to jointly build open cooperation platforms. So basically, I think the telecom operator can play very key, important roles. So I think China Telecom is a case study, that embrace AI and advance its corporate strategy of cloudification, digital transformation, and AI for good. So I think it really has done many interesting work, in various areas, including, I think, including providing intelligent computing power, general purpose large models, and industry-specific large models, and also enable and scalable, creating enabler and scalable intelligent products and services, and also serve as guardians of secure AI development. So I think telecommunication company can play very critical roles in all of this AI development areas. At the same time, there are many challenges in corporations in AI infrastructure development. So there are three kinds of challenges. The first is that emerging economies, many of these emerging markets, and they really still, I think, the economic capabilities and is still very weak. So financing this infrastructure development is a challenge. The second is distribution of computing power resources is quite uneven. In some of these developing countries, they are very centered in key cities, but not in the other rest of the country. And also this heterogeneity of hardware ecosystems, also creating technical barriers for further application of the technology. And the third is uncertainty in global governance issues. So AI resource access gaps and governance and infrastructure divides. So we're talking about the digital divide, but they actually also they are divide in governance. So in terms of how to overcome this barrier, so I think the study recommends to build a multi-layered cooperation framework characterized by universality, inclusiveness, mutual benefits, and win-win outcome. So there are some general principles that's being proposed. First is to uphold openness, sharing, and AI equity, respect each country's digital sovereignty and cultural diversity, and explore diverse technological pathways that meet the actual needs of developing countries. So that's the first. The second is that the efforts should be made to explore sound mechanisms for balancing interests for mutual local industrial ecosystems and talent pools through cooperation projects, and to transform external technological assistance into endogenous development capacity. So basically, we're saying that if you want to support the infrastructure development in developing countries, so there should be really supporting from the traditional technical assistance. That's really for many years. I think that has been quite widespread. But at the same time, without endogenous development capacity, then I think that's still, not able. The developing countries are not able to achieve its, autonomous development in the long run. So I think this is the kind of layer that we propose that there could be many layers of work. A multi-layered, multi-level cooperation network, and so to really realize the kind of principle that we proposed. So including many different layers of things, including I think particularly policy coordination, financing, and the standard setting, and so on. And so to conclude, I think the process of promoting inclusive global AI governance, AI development, will determine whether humanity can jointly seize the opportunities of the intelligent era and realize the ambitious goals of the 2030 agenda for SDGs. So only by upholding multilateralism and deepening programmatic cooperation can we ensure that the fruits of AI development can be truly and benefit all humankind, and really inject intelligence momentum into building a community with a shared future of humankind. Guided by infrastructure cooperation and supported by capacity building and underpinned by regulatory coordination, we should really comprehensively advance the empowerment of all the sectors and industries by AI, so that actually people in all countries can benefit. So I think that, we hope that this research can help and promote international community to work together to support AI infrastructure development in developing countries. So thank you.
Thank you, Professor Zheng, for the very insightful introduction of the main research finding of this report. I should also use this opportunity to thank you for our collaborators, Director Ji Hong and her colleagues from China Telecom. I think we jointly worked for 1 year. Let's give a applause. Okay, thank you so much. I guess Professor Zheng gave a very good example. As we all recognized, in this early morning, we talked how to use AI to benefit more people. So majorly, so from the maybe agricultural perspective. But all we know that if you don't have this kind of physical infrastructure, so you will have nothing, so running on which. Then how to use the technology to benefit all the people, to enable them to use which, I think could be a very good perspective to serve the society. Okay, now I think it is time so for the panel discussion. So I'd like to invite our 4 panelists so to the seat. Let me introduce just a little, maybe one by one. So, okay, yeah. So let's invite Ms. Ruoyue, so from Qianxin, so who is the vice president of Qianxin, who is a leading Chinese cybersecurity firm. And Ms. Luo also serves as the Deputy Secretary General of the Global Frontiers in Science top 50 think tank under the UNESCO International Center for Higher Education. So I think yeah, Ms. Luo. And the next panelist so will be Mr. Liu Xuan. So Mr. Liu is Vice President and partner of DeepRoad AI, who is leading the Chinese autonomous driving company. So this company is dedicated to applying AI technology to the physical world and also working at the frontiers of autonomous driving solution. Yeah. And the third panelist so will be Cyrus, our old friend. He's a venture partner at Liang Ventures, a global fund, so focused on investing in trustworthy artificial intelligence. And he's also served as a member of both OECD AI experts group and global partnership on AI. He's well known as another, so I think, co-founder of a stable, I think, Stability AI. Yeah, one of the, I think, the unicorn in this areas in very beginning, early. Yeah. I think the fourth panelist, the professor, Michael, Witbrock, who is a professor at the School of Computer Science, Auckland University. Yes. New Zealand, who is leading the Strong AI Lab, Natural, Artificial, and Organizational Intelligence Institute. And he is also served as the chair of the AI expert advisory panel to New Zealand government. Let's give them a welcome together. Now I think I can relax for a little. Yeah, I think this is the most excited site. For I think it's for this session. So we really wish every panelist would share your I think the observations. So your intelligence. So I think on this very critical issues. So first, I will hand out several questions, specifically to each panelist. The first question will be given to Ms. Luo. Because you are the professional, I think, expert in cybersecurity, I think could you give us some maybe point? So what the emerging risks pose the most systematic threats? So once AI is embedded into the critical infrastructure, so the physical world. So how can we ensure the robustness and the trustworthiness of which? So do we need some new kinds of models of the collaborations between the regulators and the operators? So I think to build a social, I think, resilience against these risks. So okay. Yours.
Okay, thank you, Professor Liang. And dear Professor Xuan, Professor Gong, and everybody, thank you. I'm very glad to be here. In our trailer, we said the last is the best. So thank everybody here. Before my answer, I want to see there is a negative viewpoint in our industry. Some people say security team just like breakers. It make cars slower. But on my point, viewpoint is very operate different. I am graduated from Beihang University of Aeronautics and Aeronautics. You know, in the most modern and advanced pilot jet, it has already designed the inherent unstable. Yeah. It has been designed inherently unstable in its system. Because without, so I think we security team just like flight control system in AI's era. Because you see, without computer existence, the pilot, even though their hands tremble very slightly, maybe the pilot will disintegrated in air. So it's the flight control system enables the pilot to perform supersonic slants. Okay, so we security team just enable human ability to step in the accelerators and to face the risks of uncertainty. And now we see when AI enters into the critical infrastructure, just like economy, financial systems, gas, oil, grid, and transportation networks, maybe the critical risk is it was be deployed by bad man. It's just like a giant with feet and hands, and if it was instrued, it just or deceived, it's just like a sleepwalker. And there is an example of myself. Before several days, when I come to Melbourne, I asked the AI how I go to my hotel in the city. You know, the AI told me I should take a train in the airport and transfer to Xuan. But when I landed, I discovered there is no train in the airport. It even tell me some details. He said the train is in the first floor of the airport. But I discovered finally there is no train, and it's just in the government's planning blueprint. And I finally go to the city by sky bus. Okay, I'm lucky. So you think in this situation, I'm just a tourist. What if I'm not a tourist? What if I was an inspection robot? I'm remaining a high voltage electricity grid. Maybe I can cause some circuit, short circuit. Yeah. So you know this is hallucination, and it's only the AI's problem itself. But even if it will be tricked by hackers, it will cause very large problems. So the critical risk is you just now see transfer from digital world to the physical world.
Yeah.
Yes. So now I can have 3 suggestions for this. The first, I think we should. We focus on the context, not the code. Because, for example, for AI, just it writes poems or stories. Tolerance is very high if it speaks nonsense. But if AI is maintaining electricity grid, we tolerance is zero. So we cannot give one standard for all AIs. It does not work. So this is my first suggestion. And the second, we just a set of physical circuit breaker. Imagine, just like a fuse in your home's electricity circuit, no matter how justified the AI think $1 billion transfer is, no matter how complex the logic behind it, if the total amount exceeds the red line, we just shut off. This is the second suggestion. We can set some physical rules. We will let rigid rules govern the living intelligence. And the third suggestion is we just treat the AI just like a new intern, treat it as an intern. You think you will not give the intern a key of your void, but you just give it an access card of entry. So if it's tricked by a hacker, and if it was very higher, and it can mass a desk, not empty the void. Those are my three suggestions. And the last is about the public and private relationships. I think public deliver regulations and the private just report, but it's very slow. It's very slow because maybe when it works, the AI just elevates several generations. So I think the critical thing is to make some standard. For example, in Australia, when we buy a car, we should read according to Australian new car assessment government. So when we should set the safety grade.
Grade, smart grade or safety grade?
Safety grade, safety rating.
Rating.
Yes, this is the key word, safety rating. I think all the safety product should come out with safety rating. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, for Ms. Luo. To give such a practical, suggestions, how to embed AI into the real world. I think that's the experiences from the frontiers of the practice. So thank you so much. So next, I'd like to consult with Mr. Liu, because your company's the Deep Root is a pioneer in autonomous driving. I think that's a very I think it's huge scenarios. Now maybe arose the consensus from worldwide. So we all know both in US, in China. So there are so many of the pilot. So I think vehicles already, and will expand to commercialized. So maybe soon. That how would you define? So I think the biggest bottleneck, or the I think the risks. So I think up to this stage. Maybe for the next stage, for the large-scale commercializations. So is it still the technology? So I think shortcomings, or I think the legislative framework or public acceptance. So could you respond? So from your perspective.
Okay. First of all, I need to say I'm very glad and very honored to be here to share our view of the autonomous driving here. So I guess I'm invited here because autonomous driving is the only domain in the artificial intelligence that is most likely to kill people if the algorithm is not well designed. So we need to be very careful of building such AI model here. So as Prof. Liang said, autonomous driving has entered a new phase. So it's in the critical transition. It's from the small area demo and from the technical validation to the large-scale deployment. So everyone knows about that in China and in US, the robotaxis has been approved for doing the commercial usage for charging the fees from the users. However, there are still a lot of challenges. So in this large-scale autonomous driving commercialization, so as far as I know, so nowadays there's no autonomous driving applications that achieved three important factors simultaneously. So the first one is large scale. So the large scale application. Second one is sustainable business model. So it is commercial sounding. And the third one is that so it is safe. It is safe. So nobody has achieved these three simultaneously. So yeah, if you need to do one or two of these three factors, but you need to give up the remaining factors. So nowadays, so how people are dealing with these problems, they are transforming from the old rule-based modularized algorithms into the new end-to-end learning and adding some large language-based AI model into the autonomous driving models in order to imitate the experienced human drivers' behavior. You need to do a lot. You need to feed a lot of the data, the real-world empirical testing data into the model. That's maybe thousands of billions of kilometers of miles or miles like that. So nobody has achieved that so far. So I would say, as Prof. Liang asked, so what's the biggest challenge nowadays? I think it's still the technical problem. So I would say that so the business model and the public trust is built based on the technical foundation. So if the technical is well designed and is proved by a lot of the real world usage data, then the public can accept the large scale deployment of the autonomous driving algorithms. By then, the cost of deploying that autonomous driving algorithms will be cut down significantly. And I would say that so we have been done a lot with our competitors and our collaborators. So by introducing more and more new techniques into the autonomous driving industry. So we have achieved that we removed the dependency on the high definition maps. So in 2021, and we delivered the end-to-end learning-based autonomous driving in 2023. And by the end of last year, we started by introducing the large language models power using the chain of thought, which is DeepSeek-like techniques. So we can let the autonomous driving large language model to explain how it decides so whether to drive using this lane or whether to make a left turn like that. It shows the thinking logic of the AI model itself. So I would say using these techniques, it would gain the user trust more easily other than the traditional methods. And it would also help to reduce the total cost of the autonomous driving sensors and computing chips as well. So based on that, I would say when we do another generation of the technical innovation, the final large-scale full driverless autonomous driving deployment would be possible. And at that time, I hope everyone can enjoy the benefits of autonomous driving.
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Liu, yeah. Yeah, I think I believe so. Your point is also very complementary to what Ms. Luo already mentioned. So in the involvement of this technology, so I think that the safety, so accountability is still be put into the priorities. so in the commercialized usage. So otherwise, so I think the people, the customers will not accept that. So I think that's the first priority. So when we adopt it, so into the real world, either in some areas like so Mr. Luo mentioned, or in the autonomous driving. I think in the early morning, so Mr. Todd so mentioned, we need the smart transportation system to improve the efficiency, yes, to benefit the society. But first, if you couldn't overcome so maybe issues, so I think that couldn't be so I think it acceptable. So thank you so much. So our next panelist, so Hodes. So I think you are a little unique. I think you are the dual players. So first, as I think so founder of the startup. So in the I think so cutting edge of AI development, and now so you are so very actively so in the investment so areas. So I want to raise a tough question for you. So as an investor, so beyond the commercial so potentials, so what specific criteria so do you use to evaluate so an AI startup's long-term maybe social society so impact social values? So is it possible for the venture so capital so proactively to steer or supervise or guide the innovation away from the harmful application so of this technology? I guess it's a very so tricky, so interesting question. So
thank you, Professor Liang, and thank you, Professor Xue, for having me here. It's a pleasure being with you all the time. So that's at the heart of what we're doing. So I'm with a venture fund called Lion Ventures, and we're looking at transformational AI that will have an impact on society, but also AI for good, and we're also looking at AI safety angle.
Yeah.
And by safety, we're looking at systems that are, controllable, that are aligned, that can be verifiable, that has solid governance in it, etc. So your question is really at the heart of what we're doing. We're trying to have an impact there, and the role of a venture capitalist is also to, of course, generate profit for our limited partners, but also follow our thesis. Our thesis is AI safety and AI for good. So we have to do a big part of due diligence there. There is a big tension. So we have an obligation to generate profit, but we have an obligation also to generate good. And there's a big tension between investing in systems that are increasing capabilities and accelerating them, but at the same time, we want to make sure that these systems are safe and beneficial. For instance, we're early investor into Anthropic, right? So Anthropic is very IAC safety minded. I think it's one of the most ethical AI companies out there, Frontier Labs companies there, but they also accelerate at the same time, right? So they're part of this race, and that's a reason that a lot of frontier model labs are accelerating, because they're saying, competition is accelerating, therefore we have to accelerate, right? So that comes at the detriment of safety. So even though this company has in its gene, in its DNA, AI safety in mind, in essence, in reality, and oftentimes, because of this acceleration, that can lead to events. And they're very transparent about it, right? So recently, they shut down a model because they saw it has emergent capabilities that are not aligned with what the system wanted, right? So and we can see that in testing models, that you have these emergent capabilities coming in, such as deception, such as blackmailing, such as when they don't want to be shut down. So the survival instinct of the machines is really appearing there. So our role is to make sure that the companies that we invest in, abide by what they're saying. We have to make sure that also there's more and more AI safety washing in the space. Like there's a lot of comparison between the climate space and the AI safety space. Somebody was talking earlier this morning about climate anxiety that you have with the young generation. I have a lot of my colleagues, trust me, especially in Silicon Valley, that have AI anxiety there. But the comparison goes beyond that. There is, greenwashing that exists right there among the corporate world, saying, we are abiding by our responsibility towards sustainability, but in essence, they don't really. And so we want to make sure that the company we invest that are claiming they're AI safety company, they genuinely have an AI safety angle that can stand in the long run. Oftentimes, companies start as research companies, as non-profit, and then they do a pivot there. It's fine as long as they respect the thesis. One of the companies we invested in is a Goodfire AI, which is an AI safety research company, but they have a non-profit branch right now. Another one is a Lucid company that is also Lucid Computing, that's doing a compute governance of GPUs, and they're starting also with a dual model that is research and profit, right? So our role as an early investor is to make sure that they are, following their initial thesis, that they don't deviate from the AI safety mandate that they have, and that the mandate is, beyond the shareholders. It's like really the stakeholders and societies, because this system impacts society. So we want to make sure. So we have a role, a verifying role as a VC. We have a responsibility there, and we take that very seriously.
So, okay. Thank you so much, Cyrus. Yeah. So that's a very good perspective. So we can see the industry themselves will have this kind of willingness, yes, to set this kind of I think institutional I think tools to guarantee I think the healthy development of this technology. So by I think the industry itself. So the investors also, I think, played important roles in this round. I totally agree with you because we can observe some leading scientists, even like Banjo, also I think create some startups focus on safety issues.
Low zero.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah, I think thank you so much for the contributions. So Michael, I think that you also have the dual roles. So both as researchers, in computer science, technologies, but also the advisor to the government. So how do you think about the interactions among the economy and the industry, yes, to help us to achieve the ambitions to use these technologies? So maybe I think inclusively, I think sustainably, I think could you give some your observations? Yeah, so please.
Yeah, so I've had a somewhat unusual history. So after grad school, I went into industry in the US and stayed there for a very long time across all sorts of different AI. I started off in deep learning, spent some time and did a stint in information retrieval of all things, did a stint in symbolic AI, and then back to deep learning for reasoning, which is sort of one of the things that we work on at the moment. And I think one thing that is hard to grasp for us as humans is how different the potential world becomes if there are other kinds of minds that aren't trying to be like humans. And in fact, I think it's a mistake. I mean, it would be a significant mistake from the point of view of either AI safety and regulation, or from the point of view of actually building AI systems, to think that you should build another kind of faster human being. For two reasons. There are already 8.1 billion human beings, which seems to be quite enough, thank you. And the other is that we're the first thing which had the sort of mind which could produce cell phones and AI systems and, mass chaos. And it's extremely unlikely that if you're the first thing, you're any good at it at all. So we are likely to turn out not to be very good at this. Now, because we're sort of clever tool builders, we've built a succession of tools like governments and committees and families and venture capital funds and conferences to sort of mitigate the limitations that we've had, and increasingly we've built information technology tools which also help us to mitigate them. But we've never had a tool which is so fundamentally like a different kind of very capable mind. And listening to people try to grapple with this, and observing my own mind trying to grapple with this, I always find myself sort of pinned where I'm assuming that something stays the same about the way we do things because it's been that way and doesn't fully take into account the complexity of thinking about all of the things in our society and the way we do things changing at the same time. So, we human beings, in part because of our communication bandwidth and networking speed, and part because of our single thread of attention, simply have a very difficult job dealing with complexity. So, what are we going to do about this? Well, one thing that we might do about this is build very large-scale simulations of things like our societies, not down to individual people, because that's unnecessary, but as closely matching our societies as possible, and then use those systems to try out what might happen if we have various kinds of income support. What might happen if we have various kinds of regulation? What happens if we slow things down? What existing harms will go on for longer? What existing harms might be accidentally exacerbated if we, for example, stop certain types of AI development. So if we stop the sort of AI development which is going on in biotechnology at the moment, large numbers of people who wouldn't have had to die likely will die, right? It's a realistic prospect over the next 10 years or so that we could develop a version of CRISPR which is safe and completely effective. And if we do that, then cancer's over, right? It just can't evolve any way of getting around that. So if we slow the application of AI to biotechnology, then we lose that or we slow that down. On the other hand, we also slow down the possibility of engineering extremely dangerous and unescapable pathogens. Right? So these are very complex questions, and I don't think that we should expect to be able to run those models on human minds. Now, we have these new technologies. We have these new AI technologies. They're increasingly powerful. They're decreasingly prone to the types of error where you get told to go to the wrong train. Although, frankly, whatever controls or tests for these sorts of things that we're going to develop for AI, we should start applying to ourselves as well. Because let me tell you, human beings do not always give you accurate descriptions of what you should do when you arrive at Melbourne Airport. So I've just resorted to taking Ubers and not caring about the cost because I'm stupid and I can only handle that. So I think there's a real opportunity to start applying as much as we can these increasingly capable AI capabilities to augmenting our ability to deal with the complexity of the change and to mitigate the risk in part by trying out, seeing what might happen in faithful simulations instead of just having what we in New Zealand call a reckon, right? Something that you just kind of make up and say. That's not going to stop us from risks, and it's not going to allow us to realize the full benefits. And just one last point, this panel that I'm on is actually a panel in the Department of Internal Affairs, which is, I don't now remember what American thing it corresponds to, but Australia probably has a Department of Internal Affairs as well. But it's about the safe and effective deployment of AI for government services. So New Zealand's a very small country, but we would like to act as if we were a very large country. And one way to do that is to deploy AI to do things better and with less imposition on people. So this is one, we're exploring how we might do that. And if we can succeed at that with our small resources, perhaps that's something that the rest of the world might be able to take some lessons from. Now, we might not be able to succeed, but if we do, I think that might be useful for other places which have a much more complicated social and geopolitical position.
Okay. Thank you very much, Michael. So I think you didn't just give the advice as a technical expert, but also the social scientist on how to, align this technology with our society operation. Thank you so much. Yeah, from the technical perspective. I'm little regret because we spent too much time on the first round to express our personal opinions. But I still want we can have some conversation. I guess we maybe have a common question for all of you. Maybe you can just give a very quick response. So what's your opinions? And maybe you could also have some responses to others. That everybody are now talking about whether there is already a bubble on the physical investment on computing, I think pause. Either I think is what we observe in Silicon Valley. So I think it's also a topic on now hotly discussion now in China. So whether we also have this can, because some companies like Alibaba, like Huawei, they also declared this kind of investment programs. In the next several years, I want to get some responses from all of you. So what's your opinions? Are there real bubbles? Where it collapse, or is it necessary? If you observe from the industry perspective, I think any of you could.
You're the bubble guy.
I'm the bubble guy, yeah. I wouldn't do this job if I believed there was a bubble, right? But I agree with you, there are signs of bubbles. There are like companies that are overvaluated. I don't want to name anyone, but if you look at Mira Morati's company, she raised, I think, $2 billion for $10 billion valuation, and she doesn't have a product, right? So, one could... 70% of the AI startups don't make a revenue. So that's, a sign. Another number is like 80% of the capital gain, in the stock market is coming from the main AI companies. So one could think there's a bubble there. But on the other hand, we're creating a truly civilizational, transformative technology. As you said, we're not creating a tool, we're creating more than a tool. We're an agent, right? Another species. And that's why everybody's betting, on HEI, and that's why everybody. So we believe, these systems are potentially extremely powerful, potentially extremely dangerous, but also potentially extremely beneficial for humanity. So it's a thin line that we have to work on. But at this stage, no, we absolutely don't believe there's a bubble there. Love to get your take.
Can I briefly answer that? I think this is an unprecedented technological push by all of humanity. Right? Nothing like this has happened before, where all places which are capable of mounting an effort to solve these problems and improve these systems are doing it. So all of the brightest humans, and increasingly all of the brightest AI systems, are working to make these systems which help human civilization to work and be more effective. The value of the upside, it's likely to succeed, right? We are probably not going to hit Gary's brick wall, right? So given that, the value is immense. However, making bets on individual companies, some of those, so it's not, it's not a big bubble, but there are probably quite a lot of little bubbles which will pop. So invest in an index fund for AI. Don't invest in individual companies, I think, is the lesson.
That's wise.
Yeah.
Across the whole world as well, not just in one regime.
Very helpful.
Yeah, I would want to add one more point. So, so based on the previous discussions, so the AI, I don't think there's any AI bubble. So specifically in the domain of the AI for the general physical world.
Yeah.
So I mean, for the digital world maybe, but for the physical world, I think the AI understands too little about how the physical world are running. So the basic laws of the physics. So can we derive the law of physics using AI models? Can we let the AI model learn the laws by itself? So based on that, if the AI model can understand that, it can derive maybe more and more new findings for the science. Yeah. So I think it's still the investing is too little for AI for the general physical world. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very brilliant. So I think it's opinions. Yeah, I think the U.S. government just issued a new program. So AI for the Genesis program to use AI to create the knowledge. To create values. I think whether it's a Bible or not, it depends whether you can create new values.
Yes.
So thank you so much. So
I add my viewpoint. This question is very realistic meaning. I discussed with some friends in our industry, including some chief information officer. I like this answer. Maybe they have localized and speculative bubble, but underlying change is to form the very solid innovationary force. Maybe like the dot-com bubble. The bubble will burst, the speculators will exit. How do you know the computer infrastructures and the talent which remain will force our future? This is a critical word is they force the cornerstone of our future digital society.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Historically, I think it observed, if you retrospect the history, it's always the same. Someone are compared with railways, canals, electricity, so I think networks. Yes, I think for the physical world, just as so Mr. Liu mentioned, it's necessary. So otherwise, you will not absorb this kind of, I think, investment on which. But finally, so it still depends. So whether you can expand some new, I think, scenarios, yes, for either business or the social good, this kind of, I think, things. So I think it's very helpful. I guess I still want to raise another round of the questions for all of you, but I guess our audience are already here for nearly 1 hour. I will give hand to them. So I think so we will pick up maybe 3 questions, maybe first. So if we still have time, so anybody, so if you want to ask questions to our panelists, you can raise your hand.